How do I deal with negative comments as a content creator? All right, let's go ahead and get into it. And for those of you guys who are new to the channel, hello, my name is Jasmine. I'm so glad to have you. I have been a full-time content creator now for 6 years, started during COVID. And when I think about all the platforms that I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, Twitter, I'm everywhere. Most of the negative comments that I've received over the years came from Instagram. Okay, I don't know what it is about Instagram, but that community can be brutal. Okay, I started to experience a lot of it when I started posting like my weight loss content. And if you didn't know, I lost 100 pounds. And so about 2 years into my content creation journey, I decided to start documenting that process. So I would share like the foods that I eat, and I'm plant-based, by the way. I started to share the workouts that I was doing, just really documenting my journey. And over the course of about 6 months of doing that, a lot of my Instagram reels started going viral. And I would never went viral before, by the way, until I started posting that type of content. And so when I'm seeing like 50,000 views, 100,000 views, a lot of my reels were starting to get millions of views. That's when I started to get a lot of negative comments. And at first, back then, I would take those comments very personally. They would make fun of the way I looked, like my weight, or, like my gym attire. I carry a lot of weight in my lower half, so I've always been like a pear shape. So my waist would be smaller, but my hips, my butt, my thighs, my lower belly, that's where most of the weight was carried. And so because I lost weight the natural way, eating less, moving more, I still had a lot of lower belly fat, but just wasn't as much as it once was because I had lost 100 pounds. And so people would, make fun of my lower stomach and say things like, is she pregnant? Or why does she have that on? Or that doesn't look good. Just a whole bunch of negative stuff, a lot of negative noise. And one thing I will say is, I think a lot of us can attest to this. We'll allow the negative comments to outshine the positive comments, which is crazy. Reflecting back, there was definitely way more positive comments. A lot of women and men cheering me on, telling me keep going. I see your transformation. You're looking amazing. But because I'm human, right, you tend to overlook those positive ones and you hyper focus on the negative ones. And I'm not going to lie, like when I first started experiencing that, it would kind of hurt my feelings. It would make me feel more insecure. And it just kind of made creating that type of content a little less fun just because of the few negative comments I was getting in comparison to a whole bunch of positive comments. And when that first started happening, I would find myself responding and trying to defend myself, letting people know, hey, I've lost 100 pounds, like give me some slack, right? But those negative comments, they would just keep coming. One thing I noticed about people, and see, I never was like this, that's why it was hard for me to understand. When people feel the need to say mean things under people's videos, it's a couple of things. One, they're doing it because that's how they feel about themselves, right? People can only treat you how they treat themselves. So if someone feels the need to say something mean or bully someone under a comment, well, just imagine what kind of internal conflicts they're dealing with in their own personal life, right? Because someone who's genuinely happy, someone who's genuinely secure with themselves, they don't feel the need to tear anybody down. Number two, unfortunately, a lot of people don't get an opinion in their real world life, right? Maybe they're married and they don't get to call the shots. Maybe they have a job and they don't get to put their input into things. So the internet is the one place where they feel like their opinion matters because in their own life, nobody cares about their opinion, right? Another thing is too, a lot of times people in the comment section, their goal for the day is to have the best comment, right? I'm sure you've noticed like someone will say something negative and then there'll be a whole thread of other people saying certain things. And the goal for them is to have the most negative comment or the comment with the most likes so they can feel good about themselves because they're not really working on anything in their own personal life. Like they're not self-developing. They're not working on projects, right? They're not walking in their purpose. They're just on the internet all day. And I realize this now, but I didn't realize this, a few years ago when this was happening. And one thing I realized is you can't give people your energy. I have become so intentional with where I allow my energy to flow. And I recognized, when I was trying to defend myself and stand up for myself in the comment section, it was draining a lot of my energy. Because not only am I having to defend myself, but now I'm forcing myself to read the negative things that people are saying. And the fact that I allowed their opinions about my body and my journey dictate, what kind of videos I made, or, second guessing if what I'm doing is helping people. Well, that takes away the fun. And why should I allow someone who I've never met and probably will never meet take away my joy? Why would I allow somebody on the internet keep me from doing something that's, one, helping me lose weight because I'm feeling more motivated because I am showing my journey, and then two, make me feel less about myself? Why would I give someone that type of power over my life? That doesn't even make sense. When you break it down like that, it makes no sense, okay? So now I don't deal with negative comments, like, at all. I don't even respond because they're not worth my energy. Again, people who feel the need to talk about people who feel the need to bully people, that just shows you what kind of person they are. And there's nothing that you can say that's going to get them to stop, because that's just who they are. They are committed to being that person, right? So there's nothing you can say that's going to change that, because the minute they finish commenting on yours and bullying you, all they're going to go do is bully someone else. They don't have any purpose in their life. That's why they're doing it. And I know some creators will go back and forth, and like I said, I tried, but I'm just not a negative person. I'm not a toxic person. So it's actually very difficult for me to be mean back to people who had negative things to say to me, because that's just not how I operate, Something else I noticed too is the negative comments. I know this may sound crazy, but the negative comments, that's what's going to push the video. So you have to ask yourself, why am I making content in the first place, right? Am I making content because I want to help people, which is beautiful? Am I making content because I'm trying to be entertaining to people? Am I making content because I have a business that I'm trying to run? You have to ask yourself, what is it that you're creating the content for, right? So for me, that particular type of content, yes, my goal was to help other people lose weight, but also too, you guys know I have an OnlyFans, so I'm also driving traffic to my OnlyFans. The more negative comments you have, I know this is terrible, but the more negative comments you have, that's what's going to drive the video. Because the thing is, when someone comments and other people comment on that negative comment, well, the platform is just looking at it as okay, obviously people are engaging with this. Let's push this to more people, right? If you go to any celebrity's post, any celebrity, you're going to see a slew of negative comments. you can't, this just is what it is, okay? That's what comes with the territory. And then you'll see negative comments and people, laughing and confirming those negative comments with more negative comments. And they're arguing back and forth in the comment section about something that doesn't even have anything to do with the post. Like, that's just what's going on. But in turn, that's what's driving the post to reach more people, because there's so many people now interacting with that content. All attention is good attention. And I understand that it's hard for some people to wrap their mind around that, but that's true if your goal is to make money off of your content, if your goal is to sell a product, if your goal is to bring awareness to something. At the end of the day, the more people that you can get interacting, whether it's positive attention or negative attention, doesn't matter, the better that post is going to perform. That's just the truth. I'm sure you guys have seen tons of videos where they talk about how toxic Instagram is, TikTok is, and it's true, it is toxic. I've made videos like that. It is toxic. I am not denying that. If you spend too much time on social media, that's just not good for your brain, okay? It is toxic. These platforms push content that is rage bait. They push content that's going to piss people off. They push content that's going to make you sad. They want your emotion, because the longer they can keep you emotionally emotionally tied to whatever it is you're watching, the longer you're going to stay on the platform. And the longer you stay on the platform, the more ads they can push while you're on there. So you have to understand the goal of these platforms. And when you fully can wrap your mind around it, you can, at least for myself, you can stop taking the negative comments so personally. I told you guys on one of my Instagrams, I have multiple Instagram accounts. On one of my Instagrams, this one is particularly for converting people from Instagram onto my OnlyFans. I make a lot of videos on there about dating and relationships, but just more for the male's perspective, for the male audience, giving a woman's perspective on things. And some of the things that I say are, I feel like, common sense, like, men, make sure you hold the door open for women, or men, you should pay for the first date, like just gentleman type stuff. Like, I'm not even saying anything that's like far-fetched, right? Like, ladies, what? And you would be amazed at how many men come to the comments of the videos where I'm just saying, like, hold the door open, or be a gentleman, or treat her with respect. You'll be amazed at how many accounts, which I assume are men, who are commenting, talking about how ugly I am, I'm for the streets, no, women should hold the door for men. Like, it's just the most craziest, outlandish things. And I'm just like, this is my point. Like, a lot of times, people just don't have anything else better to do. And no matter how true your statement may be to most people, you will still have a group of people who feel the need to protest that, who feel a need to tear you down because of you and your opinion. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what they're doing on that account. And honestly, I don't care, because all they're doing is pushing that account to more people who do follow, who do join my OnlyFans. So when you understand what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it, you stop caring what people think. And that's really what it boils down to, not caring what people think. And I used to struggle with that a lot. All of my 20s, I struggled with that. I'm 35. And I tell you guys all the time, if you want to be a content creator, you have got to get thick skin. Girl, you are really going to have to develop thick skin, because I promise you, I don't care how holy your business is, there will still be someone who has a problem with it. You could be a nun. You could be a nun in a whole nun outfit, feeding the homeless, and you will still have people in the comment section talking shit about you being a nun feeding the homeless section, feeding the homeless. You can't escape it. Okay, that's just the internet for you. That's the internet. There will always be somebody having something to say, and at the end of the day, you have to have thick skin. Not everybody is going to agree with what you're doing or what you're saying, and they don't have to, because guess what? They watched it. So all that's doing is pushing the video further out, getting more eyes on it. And the people who will benefit the most from your content, regardless of what kind of content you're creating, well, that's your audience. Those are the people who are going to follow you. Those are the people who are going to subscribe. Those are the people who are going to buy whatever it is that you're selling. So I hope this video helped. It happens to the best of us. I don't know what it is about Instagram. I've been on YouTube for a long time. I've had a few negative comments on YouTube. I've had a few negative comments on TikTok, but for me, that Instagram crowd, they are straight bullies. Some of them are like the biggest bullies. Like, I don't know what it is about Instagram, but they ain't with the shits. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I can't wait to read what you have to say. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And do not forget to join the Patreon. The link is down below in my description. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.